Welcome, students, as we prepare for another episode of DC Graduates. I am one of your hosts, your doctor recommended dose of nerdiness, aka Carlos Rodriguez, your nerd today. And as always, I am joined here by my teacher extraordinaire, my teacher in crime, as I like to say, Sly. Sly, how are you doing?
I love to be your teacher in crime. I did
Mm.
think when you started the countdown, I had enough time to take a drink of water. I don't
Mm.
know if I was successful in that. We'll see how the final edit comes out.
Yeah, let's
But
let's
yeah.
watch a replay. It's like, yeah.
I'm so thrilled to be here with you to talk about an iconic movie. Genuinely. It's gonna be a great time.
Yes, so we are talking about 2009 Superman Batman Public Enemies, which is an adaptation of Superman Batman comic book series that we had back in the day. I'm trying to remember the year specifically because I used to collect these actual individual issues. So this started in 2003 with Jeff Loeb was one of the writers, and then he had Ed McGuinness, who, if you know, he does like these big bombastic bodies. Actually, if you see this movie, it's kind of what the art style looks like. And then he also used the late great Michael Turner, which was one of my favorite artists when they reintroduced Supergirl into the modern DC universe. It was really cool. But ooh, I totally forgot about the scene, and it's not in the goddamn movie. Fuck. All right, that's why comic books are awesome. Also, if you look up Superman slash Batman, which is going to be fun because I'm getting to this nice little segue.
Yeah.
In Google Images, it says kiss.
Yeah. That's because in the world of fan fiction, as I
Mm-hmm.
alluded to last week, uh, typically when you put a slash, whoops, don't mind me smacking my mic. When you put a slash in between two characters' names, it implies a sexual or romantic relationship. That's why it's called slash fic.
Uh-huh.
When you talk, slash fic tend to be like male characters. This is not a lesson on the etymology of fanfiction terms. However, I could turn it into one. So let's just say I giggle a little bit every time we get these Superman slash Batman titles. We get lots of them,
So many times.
and it's so many times, and every time I'm like, that's because they're married, Your Honor. Now
Yeah.
kiss.
Now there you go for you fellow AO3 freaks out there like Sly. Uh you
I
get
own
that.
it.
Yeah, now I get the joke, so that's fun. It's fun to know. But yeah, again, yeah, this is one of my. This had a really good run comic book wise. This series until it says Greg Pak. Greg Pak did pretty good, but like some of these stories are very bombastic, very fun. Again, the reintroduction of Supergirl, which we'll cover in a future episode, maybe next week. Um, but this is one of my favorite comic book series. And this is around that time where I'm starting to get back into comics. Green Lantern Rebirth is happening, all this stuff, and this is one of the ones that brought me back as well. Ed McGuinness's art is just phenomenal, and this movie did a great job of adapting that. And Jeff Loeb gets a lot of crap for like how he writes. Sometimes he writes like Superman for All Seasons, really good. Spider-Man Blue, really good, and stuff like that. This is like one of those ones like I don't know. Long Halloween, I think is another one of his. This is really good.
We'll see that
The
later.
yeah, that's right. I forgot we are going to cover that. Thanks, Justin Ackles. Um, so that is a little bit funny enough. We dive right into history class. That's my little history with this, and I immediately when this movie got announced, I purchased it right away. I absolutely love this film. I think I still own this on Blu-ray. This is one of the few DC movies I still own on Blu-ray. Where are those Blu-rays at? I don't know. I don't know. There's somewhere in this construction zone of a house. Uh, Sly, was this your first time watching this movie?
Absolutely, it was not.
Mm.
I saw one of your notes as I was watching, and I was a little offended that you thought I hadn't seen this one before. Because I feel like it's one of those iconic, like pre the real takeoff of like the DC AMU. It was one of those touchstone DC animated movies. Like if you were into DC at this time, like this was like on the list of like must watch properties, right? At
Yeah, we
least
got.
that's how I saw it.
We'll get into a little bit, but we have so many people returning. Iconic voice
Mhm.
actors in this. But this movie was directed by Sam Liu, who we've known the a couple movies so far that we've touched upon in this series. Written
We'll
by
probably see a couple more.
so many, so many. He's written by Stan Berkowitz. The studios, as always, is WB Animation. It stars Clancy Brown, the iconic voice of Lex Luthor, Kevin Conroy, the iconic voice of Batman, Tim Daly, one of the iconic voices of Superman, Allison Mack, ooh, ooh, you know, LeVar Burton, which was fun because he's like, I swear it's like 2 lines he gets in this. Jennifer Hale, who we love so much from our FemShep, Andrea Romano and Bruce Timm as vocal cameos as always. Streaming again, as at least as of recording, it's streaming on Tubi. It was a nice little surprise when I got that Superman Shazam, which we covered as a DC thing, and it was like, oh wow, it's on here as well. Cool.
One of us looked how to watch it legally. One of us didn't even think to look if it was streaming legally and totally watched it legally. I don't know what you're talking about,
Yep.
Carlos.
Oh nope, nothing at all. And this is why David Zaslav is a fucking idiot, because you didn't have the thought to be like, let me check on Max. You know what? There's no way it's on
No,
Max. It has to be illegal.
no
I
way.
mean, or not illegal.
Right.
Who knows? Who am I to say?
Who knows?
Yeah, who am
I
I to say?
probably owned a copy at some point. It's fine.
Yeah, sure. At some point, yeah. It's like everyone's owned a copy of Mario. You can definitely get that ROM. You're
Yeah,
fine.
theoretically. If your lawyers ask.
Yeah, it's somewhere around here in this construction zone mess. That's what I'll say.
Exactly.
Sly, hit us with the plot recap.
All right, we don't have a fun one again this week. R.I.P.
No.
So what we're working with is when Lex Luthor gets elected president. Big yikes! He uses the threat of an oncoming kryptonite meteor striking Earth as rationale to frame Superman.
Listen, if between him and the guy we got right now, you know who I pick.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you know who I'd pick too.
Yeah. Listen, one hates only one illegal alien. The other one,
I think he
all
hates.
the other ones.
I think he hates any illegal alien that's not from this planet.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. The other one hates the illegal aliens, quote unquote. How can you be illegal when we're on stolen land in the first place? However, he hates all of the people on this and from this planet. And I'll take the one hating extraterrestrials
Yeah.
over the one hating the people who have to live here.
Yeah, exactly. Because I feel like Lex would treat migrant workers very well. Like, you might die, like, don't get me wrong, but that's anyone that works for Lex.
Oh, he's an equal opportunity killer.
Yeah.
He's not going to pay you well, but he doesn't pay anybody well.
Yeah, he might kill you. The job you're on might kill you. You might die, but it's not about your skin color. That's not the issue.
Mhm.
It's just unless you're blue
He doesn't
and
care
from another
about
planet.
anybody but himself.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah.
If you know that going in that job, you're fine. Listen, you're good. You're gonna be okay.
That's most
Now,
of the CEOs of this country, anyways.
exactly, and at least Lex wears it on his sleeve. Like it's
He's
right there.
upfront about it.
Very upfront about it. Unless he's like hiding it to be U.S. president, which again wins in a landslide in this movie. We'll talk about that. But that's like, this is a very daunting task. Do you want to cover the comic book characters, or would you like me to take this task?
Do you want me to do all of them? Because I pulled up all of them, or just the ones you listed.
So it'd be funny to do all of them. You just gotta skip, I guess, some of the bad people, because there's. Well, yeah, I guess you could say you could mention them twice if you want. It's up to you.
Okay. Uh, well, I think how many of these are not included? This is some fun. Okay, I think the top one's cool. Great. We're starting out with our super teams, quote unquote. We got Superman, Batman, Lex Luthor, Captain Atom, Captain Marvel, Major Force, Power Girl, Metallo, Amanda Waller, Black Lightning, Toyman, Gorilla Grodd, and Starfire. And then we have 28 more characters who show up to fight because of the bounty. We've got Silver Banshee, Icicle, Captain Cold, Killer Frost, Mr. Freeze, Solomon Grundy. Oh, Mongol. I can speak. Mongol, Lady Shiva, Nightshade, Gorilla Grodd. Oh, that's a double. Kestrel, Giganta, Copperhead, Black Manta, Brimstone, Catman, Deadshot, Eclipso, Strike, Despero, Black Spider, Cheetah, King Shark, Bane, Scythe, Parasite, Captain Boomerang, Girder, and Riot.
There we go. There we go. I think the only one we're missing is Hawkman. That was it.
Oh, Hawkman.
But I have Hawkman on the bottom because I was like, I
You
forgot he
have
was in
Hawkman.
that. But yeah, there you go. We have so many
God, I
goddamn
have thoughts
characters.
about Hawkman.
There's so many characters in this goddamn movie. God damn it. There's so many characters. Jesus Christ. I love it. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. A lot of them get the bitch treatment on this one. But next we're gonna touch upon one of my favorite segments, the Andrea Romano Roundup. Of course, we shout out our queen, Andrea Romano, voice director supreme. Actually, now that you teed it up, let's talk about what you brought to the table. How many cameos is too many? Hit me up.
There was something I was thinking about in this movie specifically because we get this gigantic, fantastical fight scene where we have, again, 28 random characters showing up to enact this bounty that was put on Superman's head. And it was reminiscent of Spider-Man, especially across the Spider-Verse, where we had hundreds, if not thousands, of cameos littered throughout that movie. So I wanted to ask, how many cameos do you think is too many? And do you think there's a distinction between the type of cameo where we get to see a quick glimpse, a quick, scene in a fight, versus it being constantly thrown in your face? Does that impact your enjoyment of the type of cameo? And how many within one movie is too many?
So it's funny because it's going to sound very contradictory, right? When you have Spider-Verse and you have, like you mentioned, like thousands of cameos in that, a lot of them are played for either comedic effect. A lot of them are just a one-off. Like you see Spider-Man and Mary Jane from Renew Your Vows universe, which they're married, they have a daughter, all that stuff. Mary Jane has powers in that universe. You see them literally just walking across real quick. Some of them are used really well, like Scarlet Spider. Having him be like this broody '90s kind of guy in there, for a split second, or the Spider Dinosaur, things like that. It's done really well, but they also have the strength of being Spider-Man, right? They don't look weak in comparison to like fighting Miles, and like they're just throwing him for a loop because like Miles has different powers than anybody else in the Spider-Verse. And it's a fun. I think it's one scene as it is in this, right? The issue, and it wasn't. I think initially when I read the comic, because this scene also appears in the comic, I think I didn't really think about it too much at the time, being like 13, 14, reading this. I'm like, this is fucking awesome, right? They're whooping everyone's ass. But like in the context of the DC universe, to see so many like A, B, and C villains just get like worked on so quickly. Like they get their asses whooped so fucking easily. And like Batman has struggled with Bane so many times. He's like, nope, done. It feels like the best comparison I can think of is And this is for all my wrestling fans out there. When you play a wrestling game and you set up like custom like match stuff, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna have all my specials and finishers on just like from jump. So the second you get in, you're like Stone Cold Stunner, Stone Cold Stunner, Stone Cold Stunner, and that's literally what it felt like with Batman and Superman. Like they struggled a little bit in the beginning, and then like more people came. And they're like, no, we're just in like beast mode, and we're just gonna kill like basically take out everyone. And again, going down from that scene alone, right? Silver Banshee, Icicle Jr., Captain Cold. So Captain Cold leads the rogue gallery, like the rogues that go against Flash. He's taken out quick. Killer Frost, Mr. Freeze, constant thorn in Batman's side. Takes him out quick. You can almost make the compare. He's like, all right, listen, I'm just kind of ready. There's a bunch of ice people here. Mentally, I was ready. Solomon Grundy, okay. Mongol, wait, and then that I have notes about that one because I was like, wait, what the fuck? Why is Mongol here? And then it gets explained, which is like, cool, awesome. Lady Shiva, again, unfortunately, you and me love Lady Shiva. I think she's often
You
regulated
love
to like
her.
B or C tier on Batman's Rogue Gallery.
However, when you look at her like ability and power, she is horrifyingly competent.
Yeah.
She is like the top tier assassin. You
Mhm.
can't just like throw her to the side. Like she will
Yeah,
murder you.
and I don't even think she
She
doesn't
will
even
win.
she doesn't even get a shot off on Bruce, right?
No,
Like Bruce constantly like is like
they
bing bing
did
bing.
her
Done.
so dirty.
Yeah, so it's like it's so frustrating when you see that because when you put her on the board, especially with the melee that's happening, like it's just chaos at that moment. Like she should have at least got a couple really good shots on Bruce before being taken. A lot of these people should have got a couple good shots. Like you should have constantly like to bring the Rock back up. He has a clause in a lot of his movies. We spoke about the Rock last week because we covered some Black Adam stuff, but he has a clause in his movies where he doesn't want to look weak. He doesn't lose a lot in fights. He doesn't look too bloodied up and beat up anymore, like that he did earlier in his acting career. That felt like they put that clause in. They felt Batman and Superman, for another wrestling comparison, felt like Hulk Hogan and Kevin Nash and Scott Hall in the NWO when they just took out all of WCW back in the day. They flexed their creative control in this movie. It was like, listen, I don't want to look weak. You can shoot me in the chest with kryptonite. That makes sense. That's Metallo. I'll give my man Metallo some love because he hasn't got a lot of love animated wise. But that's it. No one else is gonna make me look weak. Like, all right, Superman, no problem. Like that's the problem here. And then
But the
again,
problem is,
yeah,
if you have other people, like, I don't know. Sorry, Captain Boomerang, you're not gonna be an A tier.
no, no.
If you have people like Captain Boomerang and you're taking them out easy, no problem. But when you have literally like one of the best assassins in an organization called the League of Assassins, and you're
What do you
treating
mean?
her like she's some like intern of the week at like Ray Gold's Manor or something, like
Like,
fuck that.
hey, what's your name? My name's Brad. I just started today. Like, no,
Like,
no. That's not who Lady Shiva is. And then again,
no.
Deadshot, who now I guess, all right, again, this is early 2000s. This is like post like big Suicide, like the John Osterman run of Suicide Squad, where he kind of was established. He's like a little like lower tier now at this point. Okay,
Mhm.
but then you have Eclipso. It was a pretty big deal. Does magic, should hurt Superman a lot, right? And Batman. You have Cheetah, who's like Wonder Woman's main villain. You
Right.
have King Shark, who is one of Aquaman's main villains. Bane, who not only is super strong, is super fucking smart.
Broke his fucking back.
Exactly.
Like,
And then you have Parasite, who always is a thorn on Superman's side and barely does shit in this movie. Like, there's
and
almost
like
no
being
stakes.
controlled by Grodd.
Yeah.
Like Grodd is like up there as one of like the very strong villains, right?
Yeah.
And to have access to the abilities of all these very strong villains. And to treat it like it's nothing. Like it made a really dope ass fight scene, don't get me wrong. However,
Yeah.
I did have to fight for my girl's honor a little bit. No?
No, no,
Also
you have to.
cheetahs.
Yeah, Cheetah. Yeah, again, like Cheetah's there. Like it's just so weird to see them so quickly taken out, and it just feels like such a like disservice. It feels like that scene in Step Brothers where they fight all the little kids at the end of the movie, and they just like wreck house. Like that's what Batman and Superman did. They just like demolished like, and then at that point, like, isn't your spirit broken as a villain? You're like, all right, Bane be like, I have a really good plan. We're gonna like mess up Gotham, and you're like, did he just cut my cords already? What the hell? You know, it's like I mentally I need to get back. And again, this is Bane we're talking about, right? In the same universe, technically after all this, he kills Alfred. He takes over Gotham and kills Alfred in
Like
front
to
of,
talk about that point.
yeah, and talks about it and like does it in front of Damien's eyes, like messes him up. Like that same Bane, apparently, like canonically a couple years before, just got his ass whooped by Superman and Batman in like a 2-second fight. Like they're the same person. No, no. And then when you have this, like, well, I mean, I guess I understand why they wouldn't have Joker, but like have Joker for like 2 seconds. I don't know, or Harley, somebody, man. Like, like
Yeah.
it's just weird. It's just really weird how
Mm-hmm.
quickly they're all taken out. Um, but it's a good segue because this part is very reminiscent to one of my favorite buddy cop movies, if not probably my wife's favorite buddy cop movie, Tango and Cash. And as I was watching this
Okay.
movie, have you seen Tango and Cash? You know what I'm talking about? All right, so
I don't
Tango and
watch
Cash.
movies.
All right, Tango. Okay, we have to do a watch along for this because, and I know
Okay.
somehow like Mario heard it in Chicago and he's gonna just jump into Discord out of nowhere because I know Mario loves this movie. Tango and Cash is a very early '90s, late '80s buddy cop movie. There's many of those back in those days. Funny enough, starring Terry Hatcher. She's also in it, and who one day played Lois Lane in The Adventures of Clark and Lois. Um, but two cops, they both get framed for something that they didn't do, and they have to go on the run. They go to jail at one point. They had this massive fight in the prison yard with like a bunch of people that are tough as shit that they put away. This felt very reminiscent of that. And they constantly bicker with each other because, yeah, I think was it Tango is Kurt Russell's character. I always forget who's who. It's been a while, but Sylvester Stone's in it. He's very posh, very like clean cut. He makes it. He's like, "Oh my god, you're like Rambo." He's like, "Rambo is a pussy." Like there's like jokes. There's like inside jokes if you know like action movies and stuff. But he wears like a suit. He's got glasses. He's like clean cut. And then there's Kurt Russell, and he's all like Kurt Russell. So he's like all like hair's a mess, very ruggedly handsome, just aloof and just like, hey, whatever happens, happens, man. You know, that's just my life. Uh, and they're stuck together as these like partners. And this felt like that movie specifically, especially like their characterization of Superman and Batman. I don't know why. Again, this is like my fifth time probably watching this movie. I've read this series so many times. I don't know why it never clicked to me that this is very much so a buddy cop movie, and specifically so that one.
Mm-hmm.
I buddy cop movies don't get a lot of love anymore in
They
the year
don't, but they're
2024.
a brilliant like format.
Yes, if done
I
right, they're really done really well.
Yeah, I love when we take superhero movies, quote unquote, as a genre, and we play within the tropes of film, within the tropes of like movies, you get so many interesting narratives. And if you commit to that, you can tell a really incredible story. Like, if you're going to go hard into like the noir aspect, do it. If you're going to go
Hmm.
hard into like the detective mystery, do it. If you want to make like a kung fu movie but with superheroes, go for it. Like, that's what tells compelling, interesting stories. And to have that, as soon as you put that in the notes, I was like, oh shit, this really is the structure and format of a buddy cop movie to its benefit. It's
Yeah.
great pacing, it utilizes conventions of the genre, and it tells a really badass story. I think we need more of that, especially in the like day and age when we're even past the conversation of like superhero fatigue.
Hmm.
We had that years ago, and we're still, kind of getting the same thing. There hasn't really been much innovation within the like umbrella genre of superhero movies. Embrace it. Figure out what's at the core of these stories. What is the heart? How do you adapt that into these tropes? Like, using tropes can be a crutch, but oftentimes it's a narrative shortcut to tell a really awesome, badass story. Anyways, that's my soapbox for the day.
No, I agree. And then one of the things too is embrace that campiness, right? To a certain degree. Like this is it might be one something why I'm so excited for James Gunn taking over, DC films. Um because, again, our lineup so far that we know of for that, live action slash anime series is we're starting off with an animated show, which is very crazy and very outlandish and Creature Commandos that's gonna be canon to this new universe. And then we're going back to Peacemaker with like all season one now confirmed being canon, minus the Justice League at the end of season one, right? Okay, we don't have that. But like everything else happened. And that's very weird and campy and kind of weird and like very rated R and nasty and is like all this stuff. It's fun. And then, you know, our next thing after that is Superman, this shining beacon, and we already seen pictures of him smiling, and he looks like a dork as Clark. He's got the crazy hair, and then he looks at Superman, and he looks normal. He has this awesome suit, and like who knows what happens with that movie. But when you have someone like James Gunn who loves film, loves tropes, cut his teeth in trauma movies, and now has adapted those stylings and a lot of that independent filmmaking ideals into like major filmmaking. Who knows? We can get something like this with, let's say, Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, right? We already have Jaime Reyes in
Hopefully.
this universe. Like, why not bring Booster
Yeah.
Gold and have him come in? Have someone play Ted Cord. Spoilers for that movie. He's alive somewhere in that universe, so why not have him show up? Like, do that. Like, have a buddy cop movie like that in this, and it works really well when you have two specific characters that maybe have like such an inherent bond, like Superman and Batman. They have that familial bond with them, but at the same time, they also are very antagonistal. Oh, that's not the word I want to use. Uh,
Antagonistic, yeah.
yeah, thank you. With each other, where they're constantly jabbing
Mhm.
barbs at each other. Oh,
Oh
you're gonna
yeah.
meet Luthor. Yeah, I'm gonna meet
They
Luthor. Is
bicker
like
like an old married couple.
exactly,
Cough,
and
cough. Because they are.
because they are, yeah. There's so many times it's just like kiss, do it, just do it.
The
Yeah.
speaking of ratings, this movie definitely earned its PG-13 rating
Oh, yeah, yeah, 100%, a hundred
immediately.
percent, yeah, 100% did that. But man, like this has so much fun in that genre, and I enjoyed this movie. I've watched it five times probably, and this fifth time I was like, damn, this is a buddy cop movie. This is Lethal Weapon. This is Rush Hour when it's good. This is Cop Out. Kevin Smith's Cop Out is still like a great buddy cop movie. Collision Course. That's a one that no one knows about. Starring Pat Morita and Jay Leno. Look for that movie. That one. That's on Max, by the way. Collision
Oh really?
Course, starring Pat Morita, who's Mr. Miyagi, and Jay Leno. That's on Max. Is this movie? Fuck no. God damn it. Of course it's not. Of course it's
Um,
not. But it has
yeah.
so much fun. Like the villain, like Luthor goes over the top, but like a fun over the top. The fights that you get in this, does it do a disservice to 28 characters? Yeah, but still, like it's fun to watch
But
Superman and
it's fun.
Batman beat the balls off of all these people. It feels
Right.
like
If you
playing with
don't think about
toys.
it, it's a great time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly. It's the idea of like, I don't know. Again, our age difference will show here, but when I was like a small child growing up, the action figures that were out were like the Justice League. Like
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah.
those characters like were the action figures that we had and were playing with, and like those are like the like representations of those characters that are always going to be so seared into my brain because of the way you interact with those, the way you make up stories and tell them, and to encapsulate that in this huge fight scene, like it's fun, it's nostalgic.
Yeah.
But speaking of nostalgia, this movie was simultaneously giving like very much written in like 2008
Oh
and
yeah.
also like insanely relevant to our lives right now, and it was a
So
little
weird.
horrifying.
That's another
It
one. This
was
is our
so
second one where
weird.
we're like, this feels weird to watch right
It
now.
feels pointed. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I remember loosely like what it was like to experience like the 2008 like crisis as
Mm-hmm.
a child, right? Um However, like this movie did such a good job of both invoking those feelings, those memories in me, and also being like, "Oh my god, imagine what the kids in 10, 15 years growing up now are going to feel about like the world we're currently living in." And that was a harrowing thought.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to inflict you with all of that psychic damage because I had to experience it.
Yeah, because think of like you get Ed McGuinness, drawing, and then you get Jeff Loeb writing, and 2003 writing the comic. Like, who would have thought 21 years later it'd be like, holy shit, this is really on target. This is really on target,
Yeah.
right? We got a guy as a
Uh-huh.
president who's constantly lying to us for our benefit,
My
and
second note was, what's it like having a felon running for president? Oh, wait.
yeah, ooh, yeah, and then like constantly lying to us, like, no, I didn't do that. No, it's fake news. It's this. Is
Hmm.
that.
Yeah.
It's
I'm the
so
smartest man in the world.
yeah. Except he actually is.
Nothing I do.
He's up there. He's definitely up there.
I mean, his plan failed and he got beat by a 13-year-old, so I don't know how
Yeah.
much you can really blame that.
Yeah, I still think maybe taking that loss, he's gonna take that L a little better than some orange people would. You know what I mean? Like if 13 was like, hey, we
Yeah.
got I have plans. This orange person would be like, I have concepts of a plan. Uh
Yeah. The like most heartbreaking thing about this movie is Lex was actually a pretty good president. Like they're talking about everything he did,
it's
and
boring. He
there's
said
a
life is
line in there,
boring.
"Life is boring," and I was like, I would kill for some boring
I
right
would
now.
kill
I
for
would
some
vote for
boring right
that
now.
man. The
Yeah.
fact that you're making me consider voting for Lex fucking Luthor
Yep.
in the year of our Lord 2024,
Yeah.
devastating.
Definitely would have voted for Lex Luthor. Like I know, I like again, he has a murder boner for like aliens, like legitimate space aliens. But like, I mean, we can like maybe teach him the error of his ways, right? Maybe, if Darkseid comes down, we could be like, "Hey, buddy, we need those aliens right now. Like, we need Superman. You need to stop being a dick about this
Yeah,
right now."
a little bit.
You're like, "Fine, all right, this one time I won't be a dick about it." But like, other than that, like, yeah, Power Girl has a line about it being boring. I was like, "Ugh,
Mhm.
fuck, crazy." Um, let's,
I also was
yeah,
really impressed by their ability to predict like 20 years out. Um the Adventure of Dart, the asteroid repellent
yeah,
system that happened a couple years ago.
yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Um so crazy. Like again, like you said, this was written in what,
3.
2003?
Mm-hmm.
And then this movie came out in 2009. That was like the movie was like 10 years before that was probably even a program. I was like, damn, we
Well,
did that.
that's the cool
That's
thing
like
about
the
like.
coolest thing about revisiting things.
Yeah, it's also like the really cool thing when you have science fiction and comic book media, right? Because that does influence a lot of people in these big areas, right? Like they're nerds just like
Mhm.
us. They just happen to have a job where like, I create defense mechanisms for the planet. It's like, oh, that's cool. What are you gonna do? It's like, oh, I'm gonna make this fucking missile thing. I'm like, oh, cool, good idea. Yeah, I got it from
Mhm.
reading the fucking comic book. Like, or how many people have put two and two together when you watch Star Trek and they had these, two-way telecommunication devices, and now we have cell phones in our pockets all the time, and then you do
Yeah.
video calls. What are we doing right now? We're doing a video call.
Mhm.
Like, it's kind of crazy that like science fiction and comic book media kind of influence the nerds that are currently present, and we're like, oh, I have money, I can do stuff now.
What's it like having adult money?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I can do whatever I want, or like shit, I mean, Frank has a fucking 3D printer in his fucking like apartment, and he made a fucking Deathstroke mask that was fucking badass. Like I wouldn't have thought about that like 20 years ago, but here he bought it, no problem. Biked it probably to his apartment. He's like, I got it. No problem. It just makes dope ass shit. Like that's cool. That's where we live at 2024. That and some orange guy runs our country.
Yeah.
Again.
Speaking of some issues I had with this movie, I think you also had a note about this. This Waller isn't great, but not the worst Waller we've seen.
No.
So you know what? It's fine.
No, and that could, again, this movie is very much like an adaptation of Ed McGuinness's art. So Waller doesn't look
We
great.
can also talk about Power Girl if you want.
Listen, I have a soft spot for Power Girl because that's Tara's one of her favorite characters. That got her into comic books was Power Girl. That Kara from Earth 2 is pretty badass, but
yeah, we
she has
love
like
Kara.
one of the worst costumes, probably.
And I support I support everybody wearing what you feel confident and powerful in. However, these comics are majority written by straight men.
Yep.
Right? I mean, there's some gay guys in there too. Respect to them. We see you. But majority, men in this entire field. And I would just love them to strap 2 watermelons on their chest and some flimsy ass spandex and try to throw a kick or a punch or move at all. And tell me how effective that is for you.
Exactly.
Just a question. You're going to be, especially with that deep cutout and the like little flimsy strap on the top, you're going to be tits out 99% of the time.
Yeah, that's how you're taking out the person.
If that's what you want, just be prepared to pay those public decency fines.
Yeah, it sucks too because you get like Earth 1 Kara has like she gets the iconic Supergirl outfit,
all the way up to the neck. She's got full coverage.
Shit, she has pants now in the universe and a jacket.
Yeah, she's got pants.
I'm pretty sure Power Girl still has a cutout right now.
I would not be surprised. And oh god, speaking of Cheetah back in the day
still has it.
Bodysuit that went straight to the belly button.
Yep.
Full down. I remember that action figure. Might have told myself, younger me a little bit about myself if I thought too hard about it.
You're like, wait. It's like the community thing is like, I hope this doesn't make me gay.
Right? Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah, here we go.
I'm not prepared to grapple with whether Catwoman made me gay or not.
Not now. That's not this
not
episode.
Not Catwoman. Cheetah. You know who I mean.
Another feline hero, yeah. So she has a jacket. She has pants, but there's still that deep cutout. But she has a jacket. So that is Power Girl currently. I mean, good for her. It's and shout out to the cosplayers who feel very confident to wear that because I know there's no way in my mind I would be able to feel confident. I would be afraid of like sneezing the wrong way and then like I don't know giving a black eye to a little kid walking by. God forbid. Jesus Christ. But get to the movie proper. Anything you wanted to shout out
about the marriedness of it all?
Oh yeah, 100%.
I have so many notes about how married they all are.
They are.
I want to start. This wasn't about being married, but I think Clark called what he and Lex had. No, other way around. Lex called it a rivalry.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, bestie, you don't believe he has the right to exist? That ain't a rivalry. That's discrimination.
That is. I don't know how many times we gotta tell a president in charge that's discriminatory.
Yeah, that's discrimination. Hate to break it to you. There was a line about when it all goes wrong, don't count on me to save you. Bruce, you don't lie to yourself. You're always gonna save your husband. I know you.
That is a married wife
Yeah,
that's a
big wife
line.
guy.
I've
Yeah.
heard that. I've heard that so many times, and it always ends up how it does for Superman. She saves
Mhm.
me, and I'm like, you were right. He's like, damn right, I was
Yeah,
right.
he comes straight to the rescue.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, we called it. Um, Alfred also treating them like a married couple. We
Uh-huh.
love to see it. We got Alfie with the shotgun. Made my day. They were bickering about him carrying Bruce, which, first of all, I respect. I also hate to be a passenger in a car. I would not take being carried well. However, very useful. At one point, I literally just wrote, "They're so married." I think that was mid-fight when they were working so seamlessly with each other.
Oh
They
yeah,
were reading each other so well. It was kind of flirty, not
when
gonna lie.
when Batman was like, bring the heat.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I now had some more uh notes. Oh, when he heard just even the hint of the sentence that Bruce had a possibility of still being alive out there, immediately took off mid
Took
sentence.
off.
And I was like, yeah, go bring your husband home. Like, we know what you're gonna do.
His smile when he sees him too. He sees
And
you
then he
alive.
invited him back to like see Lois. I was like, they're married, Your Honor. All three. Uh another I have so many problems with this movie, and only because I loved this movie so much. But I just ranted for a minute and a half, even longer. I'm gonna let you take the floor, then we can get to some of my other grapes.
No, absolutely. So yeah, I love all that. That's very true. I forgot that Major Force is one of the antagonists in this movie, and that was like one of my first
Oh
lines. Was
yeah,
like, "Fuck you, Major Force, for you fridging motherfucker," because he's the reason why we have the term fridging. Uh,
uh,
God
shout out
damn it.
to literally locking somebody in a refrigerator.
Yeah, literally. Again, Major Force has
Literally.
the power, same
Mhm.
powers as Captain Atom, can like manipulate radiation, do all this other crazy shit. Decides to cut up a human woman, stuff her in a refrigerator for Green Lantern to find. Why? You could do so much. You could just melt her. Just melt her. That's worse. Don't get me wrong, but
You went through all that effort and for what? To haunt
yeah,
Green Lantern?
yeah. And like
Okay.
if Victor Saz came around, he's like, "Oh, I cut up Green Lantern's girlfriend, put her in the fridge." Like, you know what, sir? I don't appreciate you did that. Makes sense. It makes 100%. That's who you are. That's who you are. I don't expect less from you, sir. you know. But like this dude's like, I got all these powers. I can fly, I can go to space, and all this other shit. It's like, what'd you do? I just cut her up. What the fuck is wrong with you? That's like a level too far, sir. That's a level too far. Um, my first thing once Power Girl shows up. Oof, Allison Mack. Speaking of bad people. Oh man, if you don't know, you know what's on Max Sly? The documentary about Allison Mack and what she did. You know what's not on Max? This fucking
Oh,
movie.
okay.
This
Yeah.
fucking movie's not on
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, if you want to know what's up with that, definitely go watch that. Apparently streaming on Max.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Hashtag not sponsored because we
Not
talk
sponsored.
shit about them every episode.
We're never gonna get sponsored by them. Never. God damn it, never gonna happen.
Oh man, remember
Uh
when that was in the pitch deck for this
it was like, hey,
show?
maybe one day. Nope. Not this time.
Nope.
Yeah, this Waller, not as bad as Suicide Squad. Thank God. But it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I just say I put that I love their friendship. The movie does feel like Tango and Cash. Here's a good point. How much sewer water has Bruce ingested at this point?
Much. That man has an immune system of steel.
Like the first time it happened, like how upset you think he was? You're like, oh God.
Right, yeah. I think he's super desensitized to it. I do, however, think they have a whole like contingency program for if Tim ever ends up in a sewer. That spleen less motherfucker.
Yeah,
Poor dude.
he needs all the help he can get. No, he needs.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think Bruce's immune system is uh his version of the Man of Steel.
Yeah, he has a better immune system than Superman actually does.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I was gonna say I love all the suits. I love all the stuff. Hero was
Hero's great.
interesting choice.
You know
Yeah,
who
he's fun.
wasn't great? Fucking Coriander, my beloved. What
Barely
the
in this
fuck was
movie.
that? Well, she was barely in this movie, but she was definitely fighting for the wrong team.
You know,
Not my.
are you trying to get your citizenship, Corey? It's gonna backfire on
Ooh,
you.
she might be. Yeah,
Like
but
some
yeah,
of the
that was
people
not
who
my
voted for the
Starfire.
orange guy.
Yeah. Uh huh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Indeed. Um.
Yeah.
Yeah, if she's trying to earn her citizenship, then all power to her.
No.
But that was not what I expected out of that character.
Yeah.
A couple other little gripes I have. I could not believe that they advertised on the license plate which car the president was driving in. What do you
I was thinking the
mean?
same thing. Like, it's one thing to have Air
Like,
Force One. Like, that makes sense. That's something we used
but
to.
there's two of them, and you don't know which one's Air Force One.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's a decoy. This one literally has President One. Just the one car, not the car following it.
Oh no, it's the balls on Lex Luthor. He doesn't
Yeah,
care. And
literally.
also he has Metallo with him. So thank God.
All right, fine. I've accepted it. You've convinced me. I'm converted. That makes sense. He does have that ego. Um, one quick note: they really didn't give Lois a single line in this entire film.
It's so
We had to see
weird.
her for a hot second. But that was a choice. Um. Oh, I'm just gonna read this one verbatim. I think you'll get a kick out of it. He said, Captain Marvel and Hawkman? Do these heroes have any morals? Wait, no, Hawkman I definitely believe would work for Luthor. I retract that.
No, 100%. Yeah, 100%. He would be like, "Oh no, I'm on the right side of the law." I was like, "How many times have we
Sure
fought
you are,
Luther,
dude.
man? What the fuck?
Yeah.
What do you
You
mean?"
got peas are $10 a can, but you're on the right side of the law, sure.
Yeah, how dare you? How dare you, Hawkman? And sometimes you're not from this planet. You think he's gonna help? No, get out of here.
Right.
What's the same thing with Black Lightning
Speaking
and
of
Katana? Like they're
yeah,
they're part of Batman's outsiders. Like now you're gonna try to tell me like, no, we're on the government side. Like what?
I during this movie, and maybe, and I know we're at least I'm not the person to engage with this, but I was grappling with the fact why are all the Kryptonians white? Like, have we
Uh,
ever engaged with that? Have we ever seen
yeah. I mean, it's not till
like
Earth 2
that?
and that's like post New 52 that we've seen uh them of other color. You know, at least Young Justice we do get different colored. I think Zod is black, right? In that? At least his son is.
I think so. Yeah. Huh. Interesting. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Yeah, but like in the canon, every time we get like flashbacks to Krypton, again, see white people. That was the thought. I don't know why I had during this movie specifically, but it really it stood out to me.
Well, I think it's like one of those things, especially in the time area, right, where you get like X-Men is like, how do we talk about diversity and like being black in America right now? It's like, all right, we're making mutants. Like, all right, is any of them black? No, but like that's how we talk about it because like we
But
have
some
to.
of them are gay.
Yeah. Oh, really? Which one? I'm not gonna tell you right now. Make your
Yeah.
assumptions. We'll tell you in about 50
Again, they're
years.
white men, but they're gay.
Yeah. We'll tell you about 50 years. We'll reveal that one in about 50 years. Don't worry
Right.
about it. Certainly not the one making constant quips all the time. He's not the gay one at all. Anyway, but yeah, it's like especially for that time period. It's like why don't we do this? He's like, well, I mean, he's already this. It's like, all right, I guess. It's like it's video games, right? For most of our
Hmm.
our growing up, like what was the main
Yeah.
protagonist? A white dude.
Hmm.
And now it's like, hey, somebody else is like, well, that's not how my games are. It's like, well, that's when I look in the mirror, I don't
How the
see a
world
fucking white
is?
dude.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Look at
uh,
Brad. No.
yeah. Shout out to the Brads of the world. I have one more point while I'm
Hmm.
being contrary. At one point, I was like, take a shot for every time somebody assaults somebody during this film. Because we got two. The first time
Was it Lex or
I don't
Hero?
remember what. Oh, it was Hero. The
Heroes
first time
first,
was
yeah.
Hero with the goggles, and the second time Lex just macked one straight on Waller, and I was like,
Yeah.
"All right, dude. All right." Um, I don't want to excuse it for being 2009. However,
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
showed
You
its
don't.
age with those two.
Yeah. There's a lot there, right? You don't kiss your aide when you're the president, despite what
Mm-hmm.
some people might say. I put my note, it was like, sir, no. That was it. Like, no.
Yeah.
It's
Mm-hmm.
not because of
No
her.
thanks.
I mean, even though she's like evil incarnate, it's more.
Yeah.
It's more like she's a widower, so leave her alone. Please do not touch her.
Yeah. And then I have one more point for you. We all know my bias within the Bat family.
Mm-hmm.
But at one point during this fight, somebody tries to lift up Bruce's mask, and they get like pepper sprayed. And I was
Yeah.
watching that, and I was like, pepper spray is coming out right next to his
Yep.
eyeballs. And people give Jason shit for walking around with explosives in
With a
his helmet.
fucking bomb, yeah. Yeah, how
But
dare you?
Bruce has pepper spray going directly into his eyeballs every time somebody tries to take off his mask. But no, the C4 in the helmet is a step too far.
Mm-hmm.
All
That's
right.
that's why there's such a deep connection between Jason and Bruce specifically. Like they are more
Well,
like than they like
that's
to admit.
insane.
They're more like than they either of them would like to admit. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
again,
Yeah.
probably why I want Jensen Ackles to play Batman in our. He also plays Batman in one of the two different movies that we're going to be talking about, or multiple movies, but and Red Hood, but for at least live action wise, because he, not to give too much away for that episode, but he plays Jason so well that it's like you are basically Batman, sir. Like, Jason is just the flip of Batman. Like Nightwing is not. Don't get me wrong. He's close to Batman. Batman loves him and stuff. But like, there's something about Jason. He's like, yeah, something about you, kid.
I mean, Baby Dick was literally feral. Anyways, we'll
Yeah,
get into all of that. We'll talk specifically about casting probably in a couple episodes.
yeah, yeah.
Knowing who may or may not be appearing on that. Uh,
You
but
better.
yeah,
Wait too goddamn long.
we have some strong opinions.
Uh,
Um, but yeah, again, I adore this movie. I love this movie so much. I'm being
fun.
so like contrary and hard on this movie because it's so enjoyable.
I do it out of love.
Like,
That's what I do it. I do it
right,
out of love.
we're having a great time. I had a great time watching this. I was tearing this movie to shreds in my notes, it feels like, but it was because it's so enjoyable
So
and we can
fun.
enjoy things and understand the problems with them at the same
Exactly.
time.
I mean,
And
even yeah, go ahead.
I want that to be like one of the takeaways from this movie. This movie is incredible. It's such a fun time. It has some things that are deeply problematic,
Oh, yeah.
but we can enjoy things and think critically about them, and like we don't have to hate everything just because it's less than perfect. Humans aren't perfect. Art isn't perfect. Art is
No.
about creation and expression, and it reflects the world and values around the like genesis of it, right? And I just think in an era where we're losing so much of that media literacy, especially the younger generations. It's assumed they have this innate sense of how to analyze media, and they don't because they
No,
didn't
they
get that
really don't.
instruction. They really don't. And I just think it's so important for when we're talking about movies we absolutely fucking adore for us to recognize where the faults lie and be able to celebrate it and enjoy it, especially in this time of year and what's going on in the state of the world. You have to be able to enjoy things. If you hate everything you're interacting with, you're just miserable. You're gonna get so burnt out on existence.
It's so
And I don't
yeah.
know.
No, it's shocking because like when you have so many like toxic ass fandoms or what are quote unquote toxic fandoms, right? When you see something like Star Wars and like any new property with Star
Yeah.
Wars, someone's like, it's a girl. This is fucking stupid. And it's like all this other shit. It's like, fuck you, dude. Like, you're really gonna put all your energy into hating something. Just stop fucking watch. Don't enjoy it. If you don't enjoy
Don't
it, don't
engage with
watch
it.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
don't at all. Watch something else, man. Watch whatever, what you think is some non woke media or some stupid shit like that. Who matters? It's Star Wars. There's fucking aliens. Like, my favorite character is a fucking dog, like a giant fucking dog that hangs out with this person who he makes better. Like, Chewbacca just makes Han Solo better. And Han doesn't realize it. He doesn't show Chewie the respect that he deserves. But like, that's my favorite character in this thing. You don't see me like, I'll complain about little things like, oh man, it's really weird that they did this, but like, it's fun complaining. I'm not like hating on something. Like, that type of energy just never makes sense to me. Like, why are you gonna put
Mhm.
so much hate into something? I mean, there's some stuff that I've watched that like I haven't gone out of my way. Like, oh, I think this is gonna be good. I was like, holy fuck, this is horrible. Like, I wish I
Yeah.
never saw this.
Punisher
Yeah.
2004 is on that list for me.
This is why Joey's never gonna
But
watch
I
the show. He
don't.
likes that movie.
Sorry. It's deeply flawed and problematic,
Very much
and
so.
if you can grapple with that, that's fine.
Yeah.
I respect that. You're allowed to be nostalgic about things that are deeply bad and terrible. I
Yep.
respect that. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. Like, if you feel so ugly inside that you have to hate everything you engage in, go to therapy.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. I also would
You know who
love.
else would benefit from therapy?
Yeah. Lex
Bruce
Luthor.
motherfucking Wayne.
That one too. Yes. Yeah. Bruce Wayne as well. Um. But one of the funny things is, like, we touched upon like how oddly relevant this is right now, right? Like, I would love to give this to someone who's like, quote unquote, like some right wing, like, this is the woke mob is telling you what to watch and what to do and all this other shit. And have them watch this movie and like see what they do. Like, do they freak out at like, oh really, they're just being woke? They're talking about like $10 peas and the president is the president. Like, sir, this is 2009. And by the way, it's adapted from a book from 2003 when George W. Bush was our president, and stuff was looking
Right.
a little bleak then. It was looking a little
Yeah.
bad. Not as bad as now, but it's still looking crazy. So that was, in turn, a talking point of what was going on in the world at that time. And now look where we're
Media
at.
has always been critical and reflective of the world around it. Yeah, like look at the like two years you pointed out, like deep in the housing crisis and like deep in the dumbass war we went to fight over some oil.
100%. And then, or I'd like to think there's either that person who's gonna be like, "This movie's woke," how dare they, and all this stuff, and not see the year that it was made. The other person I think would be just so oblivious and so stupid and be like, man, Lex Luthor's a really bad guy. He's doing all this stuff for the country. And he's like looking to do this stuff. And he's like, oh, $10 piece. That's crazy. I'm like, motherfucker, that's the world we live in right now. How do you not see this?
You just voted for. Like,
Yeah.
hate to break it to
It's
you,
right there.
that's
Like,
that's what we're getting. Yeah.
this is what,
Uh-huh.
how do you see this but not see
You're
this?
so right. Yeah, absolutely. There is a contingent of that audience who would sit down and watch this movie and completely miss how it like
Mm-hmm.
totally parallels the world we're currently living in.
Yeah. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, that was a fun movie. Like, was it? Because it is.
What's
But at the
it
same
though?
time, it's kind of
Yeah.
oddly real right now. What's going on? So we don't
Mhm.
have a fucking Superman being like, "You're impeached," and throw the president somewhere.
God, I wish.
God, I wish so as well.
Also, shout out to Kara for being like, he makes my skin crawl. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
no
Lex
shit.
fucking Luthor. What did you expect?
Yeah, what do you mean? Yeah,
That man straight up assaulted a lady in his office. Are we surprised? Not at
an
all.
aide at that, dude. Jesus Christ.
He's like second in command. Jesus Christ.
It's so crazy. All right, so obviously we love this movie. But let's move on to drama class, one of my favorite sections. I pulled so many fucking quotes from this movie because there's so many
We're gonna have a
good
great time.
ones. Uh, let's just go down the line. Let's start with this one. I'll be Superman, you be Batman.
I was thinking we could just for the full time, just keep our roles
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
if you want to.
yeah,
I just think it'd be fun.
yeah. That sounds good. All right. So I'll start. Why is it that all the good villains never die?
Clark? What the hell are good villains?
Such a great. Also comes off the heels of like Clark finding out Magpie died. He's like, "Oh, really? That sucks." Like,
Yeah, that
that's
sucks.
so
Oh,
sad.
what a sweetheart. Again, married.
Especially after this one. There we go.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Right. The kryptonite is near your heart. I don't know if I'll be able to get it before the wind closes.
Where's the Flash when you need him?
Do me a favor and lose the sense of humor.
Do us both a favor and buy one. Great. Fucking great ass line.
Yeah, billionaire with a B versus Mr. Public Journalism over there.
Yeah. But on the same side, he doesn't have to pay rent because Bruce owns the building.
True.
Yeah.
Again, bought the building his husband worked at.
Exactly. It doesn't just show you Nepo baby energy. It's like, I'm going to buy the building you live in.
Yeah, iconic. All right, next one. I suppose it's useless to tell you to leave.
I wouldn't miss this for anything.
Your funeral.
Already had one.
Yeah, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, 3 weeks ago.
Or whatever.
Great line. Oh my god.
Iconic. All right, we got what, 4 characters in this one?
Yeah, Power Girl, Captain Atom, Major Force, Superman. Yeah, no Batman in this one. Obviously I'm Superman. Do you want?
Yeah, I mean,
do you want to be Adam? You want me to be and Major Force, and I'll be the Kryptonians?
yeah, that I was trying to divvy it up, but my brain was breaking.
I saw you struggling.
Kryptonians, go for it.
I saw you struggling. I was like, I got it. Luther did the one thing no one was expecting. He made things boring again. By the way, that's a fucking hat right there. Make America boring again. God damn. Mario, that's our first Pip thing. Let's make that. Let's make that a hat. Let's do it. And boring is good, isn't it? The economy's back to normal. Crime is down. There's no wars or anything. He's up to something. Can't anybody see that?
What I thought at first. Eventually, I realized all he's trying to do is put that formidable intellect to work, doing such a good job, no one will have a choice but respect him. It's all about ego now.
I'll never respect him. He's a sick man.
He's not the first to sit in the Oval Office. He's right. There have been womanizers, drunks, crooks, but Nixon helped turn our worst enemy into our best trading partner. And Johnson gave us the Voting Rights Act. Did he, though?
Right. Thanks for the history lesson, but I'm not buying it. Come on, work with us, please. We need you. Sorry.
I guess Luther's not the only one with an ego.
For Captain Adam to say, like, Nixon helped us, like, with a straight face, sir.
Straight face.
Oh.
He wholeheartedly believed that. He said
with
that
his whole fucking chest. Yeah. Or, I'm surprised he didn't mention Reagan at some point. Like, there it is. There it is.
I genuinely thought Reagan was gonna be the next one out of his mouth, and I was like, I'm gonna fucking gut a bitch.
They said Johnson was like, all right, well, there you go. It's a little balanced.
Not to get too off topic here, but I saw a post recently that said, like, gay people survived Reagan, and I'm like, historically, we did not.
No.
Like, that was the whole point. Like, we did not survive Reagan.
What do you mean? No one survived Reagan. We barely got through it. Crack is a thing. Thanks, Reagan.
Oh, man. Thanks, Reagan. All right, moving on. This is Batman and Major Force, I guess.
I'll be Major Force, yeah.
Okay, cool. What did Luther promise you? Money?
What do I need with money? I'm living energy.
You're not going to tell me you killed him for your country, are you?
Some of us still believe in putting our country first.
Sorry, I don't see any patriotism here. All I see is a psycho who's latched onto an excuse to kill people and who's so stupid he doesn't realize he's being used by Luther.
Sounds like that kid with the AK a couple years ago. Anyway.
And then Adam was like, I heard all of that. Oh shit.
He was like, wait a minute. Hey,
R.I.P.
wait, you killed that dude? Hey, what the fuck? Hold on a second.
Right.
It's like, I thought we were just fighting people. What the fuck are you doing?
Right.
All right, that concludes drama class. Next is quiz time. I have a very, very interesting question here. Again, it's a softball.
Hopefully I won't embarrass myself as badly as I did last week, but it's fine.
What other character does Allison Mack play in the Superman universe?
Oh, fuck, man. I don't know.
If you get the first name, you're good.
What
is her last name?
Know what? I know she was in Smallville, right? Was that the one?
That's 1 point. That's your your second.
I don't know what the name. I don't know who she played.
She plays one Chloe Sullivan Queen.
All right.
Because of the universe of Smallville, Chloe, Clark's childhood best friend, and she has such a crush on Clark, and cousin to Lois Lane, eventually marries Oliver Queen and has children with him in that universe. Of course, another universe in live action where Dinah and Oliver, for whatever reason, it was like, nah, we're just going to ignore this. But it kind of works in this one.
Why does everybody hate Dinah?
In live action.
Great.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Yeah.
And again, Felicity.
Let her be
fun
happy.
Character.
And again, listen, love the actor.
Yeah.
She did a great job in that role. Why, like, and I don't think Dinah being with Oliver is necessarily the best thing for her, like, happiness or health.
Right, for her specifically.
Yeah, I want to see her thriving, though. And why don't we get that?
Yeah.
Why do you all hate women? Question mark?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, it
Why do you
specifically
hate strong, powerful women?
Yeah. She has no powers other than her voice. Like, that's it. Like, it's pretty, I mean, it's powerful, but, like, she's not a Superman, you know, or anything like that. What the fuck?
Yeah.
God, how dare you? Yeah, but that's again, Chloe, great character, really fun character, and then she ends up with, you know, Oliver, who's a really cool adaptation in Smallville universe. That Oliver smiles a lot, makes a lot of quips, like that Oliver. And then Felicity, yeah, she's fun. That actress is a good actress. She's a nice person, it seems like, unlike Allison Mack. But yeah.
Speaking of fun quips and bow and arrow related heroes, this will be so out of date by the time this episode airs, but I need you all to know that Carlos sent me a link to Batman Year One, the like deluxe edition comic that was on sale for $5. And you know what was also on sale that same week? The like $50 like collected Barton and Bishop, all of the like Matt Fraction Hawkeye run was on sale for like $24. So you know I had to pick it up. My bank account hurts.
Just had to.
And it's all your fault.
Just me, yeah. I sent you DC stuff. You bought Marvel stuff on your own. Okay, that's not show material. Okay. All right, so that clears up quiz time where we talk about a horrible person in actual life. Like so much of this episode, oddly enough. Now we're getting to homeroom final thoughts. Sly, what are your final thoughts on this? I'm gonna call it an amazing movie.
This is an amazing movie. I would love to revisit our thoughts on this movie in a couple years and see how we feel about it. Because, you know, we are fresh. We are, you know, gut reaction to some horrific choices being made in our country. And I feel like that really shows with our coverage as of late. However, I think it'll hold up. I think this episode will stand the test of time, even though we have incredibly dated it. But that's the point of like media and enjoying it and commentary and having opinions about the things we consume. And that's why we're two idiots with a podcast.
Exactly. That's literally our job.
Yeah. That's literally our job. This movie is brilliant. It's wonderful. It's incredible. It is deeply flawed, like all of humanity. It also reflects some incredible, like, values of the time and has some incredible commentary on the world around us. And it weaves those things together beautifully. And it is just an incredible film. It was an incredible film when I watched it in the early 2010s. It's a brilliant film, a decade later. It is genuinely one of those, like, when I think of the, like, pre-DC AMU resurgence of DC animated movies, this is up there as, like, one of the, like, must-watch films. And if somehow you've gotten through this entire episode and haven't seen this movie, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah,
Go watch this movie right now.
why didn't you pause it and then just watch it and then come back to the podcast? Jesus Christ. That's what you're supposed to do. Jesus. No, I agree though. This movie is really wonderful. And I will say at the time of recording, we're in the middle of November. So, by the time this airs, it's gonna be like December-ish. It's getting cold. There's some snowy days. Listen, do me a favor. If you've seen a bunch of buddy cop movies, have this on, but like make this the last movie, and I want you to watch it. Do yourself a service. Watch Tango and Cash. Watch like Lethal Weapon 4 when they're already established. They've been friends for so long. You know what I mean? Watch Bad Boys. That's a good one. And then yeah, maybe we'll like Cop Out or Collision Course. Watch some really campy ones, and then watch this last because you will see so many influence of those films in this, just skewed to be Batman and Superman. It's so fun. And then if you want to do extra credit, pick up the series. I'm pretty sure as I was researching, I was looking at. I haven't read the comic in quite a while. I think Bruce and Clark have to share a bed at one point.
There was only one bed?
In a motel, yeah, and they're in their civilian identities, and I'm pretty sure they had to share a bed. And it's a twin bed.
Oh,
So
iconic.
hilarity ensues. Yes. I'm pretty sure it's either that storyline or there's another one where Ed McGuinness and Jeff Loeb write. But I saw that, I was like, oh, I forgot about
Beautiful.
that.
That's
But yeah,
absolutely
absolutely run and watch this movie. And then again, if you have a snowy day and you're stuck at home, binge watch it, like do like 2 or 3 buddy cop movies and then watch this one. And just you'll see. Especially one of them has to be Tango and Cash. Because I'm telling you, especially when you get to the big fight, you're like, oh my god, that's this movie. It's this movie.
And then do yourself a favor when you finish this, go to archiveofourown.org and search in the works.
Now that you know what slash means.
Clark Kent / Bruce Wayne. I think because I believe it's alphabetized by last name. I could be wrong. It might be first names. Don't quote me on that. Another fun fact about the history of slash. It used to be that whichever name was first was who you considered the top, and whatever name was second was who you considered the bottom. This is a whole nother layer. AO3 just went ahead and like standardized it, so they have a format for like alphabetically how they do their shifts, which like kind of took away that aspect. But yeah, if you really have strong opinions on which one is the top and which one is the bottom, you can reflect that in how you ship the names together, which is really iconic.
I love that this theme of tops and bottoms keeps happening. It's like a reoccurring theme between MC University and here. It's these very prominent, like either antagonists in Mr. Fantastic and Doctor Doom, but like they have to have some kind of bond, or Superman and Batman. I just love that this is a reoccurring theme of who's the top and who's the bottom.
Listen, you knew what you were getting into when you started the show with me.
Oh, 100%. And the what makes it even better is like we can make that joke about like Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, like Ted Cord, but it's like it's not as funny. Like this is fun. Like that's like of course they're fucking, come on. They're time travelers. Stop. They're doing that. You get stuck in ancient Rome and like when everyone else is doing it. Come on, why not?
Right,
Literally when in Rome.
One in Rome, literally.
Yeah. All right, that's gonna close out homeroom for us. Now we got some homework for you guys. Our next episode is Superman / Batman / Batman. now that we know what that means. Apocalypse, which is again another storyline based off Jeff Loeb's run on that series.
Mhm.
And then we get a new
Another
new
classic.
Kara. Yeah, this is gonna be interesting. This is actually, I've seen a lot of clips of this movie. I've never seen it beginning to end, and I know there's
Oh,
amazing
really?
voice. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why.
Okay.
I've
Alright.
I've read this comic a million times, but this is one I don't know if I just never got around to it. I didn't have the money for it.
Mhm.
But yeah, this one
Fair.
eluded me. But this is on Tubi as well as a recording, so hopefully it's still there
Good to
as of
know.
listening.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Right.
WB did pull it for some stupid ass reason. But till next time, class is dismissed.